Hi everyone, this is Elizabeth from Strange to Go, and in this video we are going to cover a few true Ouija board stories from the past. In popular culture today, Ouija boards are often seen as evil tools that summon up destructive, murderous spirits. However, the Ouija board was originally developed as a children's toy that was quickly taken up by the spiritualist movement of the early 1900s. The sensational stories that came from Ouija board use were often reported in newspapers, and there was very little talk of murderous spirits until the 1970s, but the trickster spirits were extremely common. In 1920, Bertha Henry grabbed the phone and quickly called the police. "Send all the policemen to my house. 3 persons have been murdered here." Sure enough, the Pittsburgh police and detectives arrived at Bertha's house, and she took them upstairs to a closed door. She pointed at it, shivered, and told them that it was in there. The police entered the room and found it completely empty. When asked about the bodies, Bertha said that her Ouija board told her that 3 people had just been murdered in that room. To make sure she read the message right, she asked the Ouija board to repeat the statement 3 times. Bertha was arrested, and a policeman was set outside her door to send away other people she had called, such as the fire department, the Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Children, and the Department of Justice. In 1933, 13-year-old Maddie of Arizona desperately wanted to get married to whomever she wanted. She even consulted her mother's Ouija board, and it told her that she should kill her father so that she could be free to marry a young cowboy. Maddie agreed and put a bullet in her father. Her father survived the gunshot wound and was sent to the hospital. Maddie was arrested, pleaded guilty, and was sent to reform school. In 1944, towards the end of World War II, a newspaper report claimed that Ouija board sales had skyrocketed. One department store in New York used to sell only a few of the boards each year until the first 6 months of 1944, when it sold over 50,000 of the boards. What caused the sudden interest in Ouija boards? The war. Friends and family were buying the boards and using them as a means to either contact lost loved ones or to have the spirits check in on loved ones in the war. In 1921, John Whitlock was having financial problems and decided to consult the Ouija board. Of course, it told him to rob a bank. Whitlock packed a bag full of what was later deemed as useless equipment and went to the Bank of New South Wales. He snuck into the manager's room, managed to remove a few bricks from the wall, and was caught. At Whitlock's trial, he confessed to following the orders of the Ouija board. The jury found him guilty but insane. When the judge told the jury that he could not be both, the jury decided on guilty, but to be given mercy. At one point, there was a lot of debate as to whether people who practiced anything resembling the occult were mentally stable or not. The psychiatrists of the early 1900s seemed anxious to diagnose as many people insane as they possibly could. For example, a small town in California in 1920 was struck with Ouija mania. As a result, 3 women and a 13-year-old girl were diagnosed as being insane for using the board game. The rest of the town was also considered crazy, and the 1,200 residents were going to be mentally examined to see if they too should be sent to the asylum. A woman living on the outskirts of Sydney began using a Ouija board inside her home in 1975. Shortly thereafter, things supposedly started flying around inside the house. The case of house possession was investigated by an Anglican commission and was decided to be a true occult experience. The solution, according to the Anglicans, was to ban the sales of all tarot cards and Ouija boards in Australia. Furthermore, they believed that the government should ban the sale of harmful occult materials to minors. They also believed that calling up the dead with toy boards was necromancy, and that the practice was becoming far too popular. Almost a year after former President Theodore Roosevelt passed away, a New Jersey medium claimed she was receiving messages from him through her Ouija board. The messages were supposedly some of the most important words ever given by Roosevelt. He had much to say about the League of Nations, an international group that was formed after World War I to resolve international disputes. He also wanted the public to know that if America does not understand her obligation to other nations, she really will be lost to the world. The medium sent some of Roosevelt's messages to his family, who, it was reported, never responded to the medium for more inquiry. Before Sir Arthur Conan passed away in 1930, he believed that he would be able to communicate with his family from beyond the veil. His family also believed it because in 1954, an article was published about how the Conan Doyle family was keeping in touch with Sir Arthur. Sir Arthur's younger son, Adrian, reported that he and his family mostly spoke with Sir Arthur by Ouija board, and sometimes Sir Arthur would send messages through mediums. The family gathered a lot of scientific evidence that the communications were real and defied any normal explanations. According to Adrian Conan Doyle, Sir Arthur was busy on the other side. Things were solid there, just as they are here, and the living seemed as ghosts to the deceased. Thank you for watching my latest video. Please don't forget to give this video a like and, while you're at it, subscribe to Strange to Go and keep up with the latest videos covering our strange history.